There are around 250 million 5 to 12-year-olds that cannot read or write whether they are in schooling or not. About 3% of these kids, which is over 7 million children, are in certain countries that cannot obtain education due to the violence and conflicts in their country. Here in the world, we are one of the more fortunate places regarding education. This causes us to forget that many regions of the world do not have the same opportunities. The ability to access education and acquire schooling is not as mainstream as it sometimes seems. As kids, it was normal to learn math, reading, writing, and computer skills. This is not the case all over. It is also easy to forget that this beginning basis of learning is what creates everything we have in this world. The importance of good education opportunities is the key to any economic and cultural prosperity. In order to save the world, we need to work together to make quality education more available worldwide. We also need to work towards forming a cultural connection through international teacher and student programs. It is crucial for a planet that we give equal education opportunities to everyone. Education is what allows people to become prosperous in the world and have the power to build a nation. There are so many untouched youth and talents when so many people in the world don't have the chance to get proper education. The world as a whole would prosper from having more trained teachers, improved curriculums, and school opportunities worldwide. By fully educating more people internationally, we would be able to bring genders to a more equal basis, reduce the amount of poverty the world is faced with, create a more sustainable planet, lower the amount of deaths in the world, and bring the world closer to a state of peace. This seemingly unachievable list of big dreams could be a reality, all starting with something as simple as a textbook. When we start to educate more people, the world will start to open itself up to more opportunities. If we continue to make good education so hard to come by, the world continues to miss out on lots of different passions, leaders, and ideas. It needs to become a priority that we include more minds of the world in the conversations we're having. If we start to do this, we start to find more global improvements. As it stands now, there are so many people with valuable opinions that will never be heard. There are important topics that people are passionate about and could help save the world with that will never be touched on. There are people in the world that don't know that the skills that they have could have a big impact on the world. They don't know the career is even needed, or that their passion is welcomed in society. Spreading openness to ideas that seem out of reach gives the world better knowledge to create leaders.
Education is power, a tool. Let's hand out those tools. Each and every one of us has talent. Let's try to make role models in every generation better than yours. I want my grandchildren to say one day, my grandmother did this, and this, and she influenced me. And that's why I'm here, now doing this. Progress in every single generation.
Overall, when people have education and the basis of learning, they can form their own beliefs and opinions. Improved education can do more for the world than just collaboration. Being educated helps more people speak for themselves. Education would also make everyone more equipped to protect themselves by knowing the rights that they have. This would help eliminate the number of people getting taken advantage of and being mistreated because they don't know their rights or recognize they have the power to stand up for themselves. Secondly, education will be beneficial to the planet if we work to expose everyone across the world of the environmental concerns we are currently being faced with. This is especially helpful now because people could become more informed of how the environment and ecosystems are changing. We would be able to encourage people to make changes and think about these situations in their daily lives. If more people knew the impact of their decisions and how fast it causes changes to the planet we live on, then they might be more inclined to find solutions. Given education, more people would be able to make improvement and changes by making small or large alterations to their lives. The key to sustainable development is making everyone educated about it. Education has the power to develop knowledge, skills, and the understanding to promote the actions that are required to make our environment sustainable for future generations to come. Not only does education have the power to save the environment that surrounds us, it also has the power to save the people. When people are properly educated, they have more job opportunities. By keeping people away from good education, we are limiting them down to low-down careers or no job at all. By having no education and probably not a well-paying job, it makes people more inclined to lean towards theft and crime to get by in life. A study done by the University of Ontario in 2011 shows that there are estimates that suggest that Increasing the high school graduation rate in the United States in 1990 would have resulted in nearly 100,000 fewer crimes. Furthermore, when people are put in poor financial conditions, they tend to resort to drugs or other things that harm their body. They find temporary relief in getting addicted to drugs, smoking, or alcohol. It's even easier for these less fortunate communities to find access to drugs than for them to find a solid education system. Being addicted or under the influence can have a large impact on the conscious decisions made by the individual. In 2004, it is reported that 25.3% of federal and 26.4% of state prisoners were locked up for obtaining drug-related offenses. With education, we would be moving towards peace and harmony in societies. Education can even make someone better at judging between right and wrong and more conscious about the decisions that they make. Helping people goes even beyond avoiding conflict between people. It extends to individuals' health. Being educated to health-related things is beneficial to make sure people are more aware of the different things we can do to be healthier, whether it's exercising, eating nutritiously, meditating, or even knowing how to treat wounds and illnesses properly. Therefore, this would be beneficial on a lower scale, like creating better eating habits, and on a higher scale, like providing treatment for illnesses. Being better educated allows for being more informed, and that means that parents can care for their children better. A mother who can read already has a good start on better protecting her children from chronic illnesses, AIDS, and dying young. The 2013 U.S. Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan, says that in the poorest states of Africa, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization projects that the lives of 1.8 million children could have been saved if their mothers had at least a secondary education. Finally, along with the improvement of getting everyone to education, it is becoming crucial for the world to find a way to become more interconnected. By creating more international programs, there would be a greater chance in creating a more tolerant next generation. If kids that weren't yet filled with political ideas and societal rules could communicate with people across the world, we would be closer to establishing world peace. Citizens all around the world would be more in tune with their surroundings and become more involved with the events that surround them that we currently push away as if they aren't our problem.
And finally, with the right education, both at home and at school, you can learn how to be a better human being. For when you read a great story or you learn about an important moment in history, it helps you imagine what it would be like to walk in somebody else's shoes, to know their struggles. The success of our economy will depend on your skills, but the success of our community will depend on your ability to follow the golden rule, to treat others as you would like to be treated.
In an already existing international school system, the students learn to be more understanding and fill their lives with less judgment. Jen Monroe, who works for the organization, says that the kids have also been exposed to so many different cultures, religions, thinking, and ideas that it has bred a much-needed tolerance among a generation that will need an abundance of tolerance, understanding, and love to make the changes that are needed to create a more peaceful and safe world. Both teachers and students could benefit from the process, and the program would make both people open to the new thought processes and help children create better friendships. International education has the power to create tolerance and better understanding in the world. So what needs to be done? We need to ensure that there are quality teachers everywhere. Government should spend more money investing in improving access to quality secondary education and create a larger pool of good teaching candidates. We need to get more people that are passionate about teaching into the community by making their money compensation better. People run away from the profession of teaching when they hear the low financial outcomes that go along with choosing it as your career. We need to get teachers into these more disadvantaged areas by giving them proper compensation and benefits they can survive on. We are paying these people to shape the future, and I think that's pretty important. Along with providing quality teachers, we need to provide quality school equipment. Every kid should be able to have access to simple things like books and crayons. If there were more foundations where the money was given to poorer school systems, we would be on our way to success. Lastly, I think it should become more embedded in our school systems to provide the opportunity to teachers and students to travel and see other schools internationally. While it could seem expensive to provide this kind of support all over the world, it would be very beneficial in the long run. Just like investing money into property or the stock market, we are investing in our future. Nelson Mandela says, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world.